When Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of women, he was not interested in flattery or political correctness. He spoke from a raw, primal understanding of human psychology, unfiltered by the conventions of his day. In his works such as Beyond Good and Evil, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, and The Gay Science, Nietzsche offers insights into what he calls eternal feminine, not as a condemnation or praise, but as an unveiling of deep truths about the female psyche, truths that many modern men have forgotten or chosen to ignore. In today's world, where conversations about gender are drenched in emotion, censorship, and ideological warfare, Nietzsche's sharp and unapologetic perspectives remain both dangerous and liberating. And while some of his thoughts may seem archaic, when interpreted correctly, they offer men tools, not to dominate, but to understand, not to manipulate, but to master themselves in the face of feminine power. Nietzsche believed that men and women by nature are different, not just biologically, but in will, in desire, and in expression. Woman, to Nietzsche, was not merely a weaker man, but a fundamentally different being. He often referred to women as more instinctive, more cunning, and closer to the forces of nature. Where man seeks to abstract, to build, to conquer in the world outside, woman rules the world within. She dominates the emotional, the intuitive, the interpersonal. Nietzsche wrote, "When a woman has scholarly inclinations, there is usually something wrong with her sexuality." While that may sound offensive on the surface, what he's pointing to is a deeper truth. That when a woman abandons her instinctive role and tries to mimic masculine pursuits, something essential is often lost. In Nietzsche's time, this was controversial. Today, it's heresy. But for the thinking man, the man seeking power, legacy, or peace, it's vital to understand that women do not think or love as men do. Their minds are shaped by evolution to protect, seduce, and survive, often through means that are subtle, indirect, and emotional. This is neither good nor bad. It is what it is. Consider Nietzsche's metaphor of the mask. He said, "Everything profound loves the mask." Women, to him, were the masters of this art. In modern society, we've confused female beauty with vulnerability, but Nietzsche saw beauty as a weapon. A woman's beauty, charm, and subtlety are often the veils over her true intent. She doesn't fight with fists or status the way a man does. She fights with attention, with emotion, with selective truth. This is not malicious, it is evolutionary. In a world where physical power belonged to men, the feminine adapted to use influence instead of force. Social circles, gossip, shame, and seduction became her arena. Fast forward to today, we see this in the way women dominate social media, manipulate digital attention, and leverage beauty for status. This isn't bad behavior, it's survival. The mistake men make is projecting their own linear, logical thinking onto women, assuming that women should act with the same honor code, the same directness. But Nietzsche warned that this projection is dangerous. To treat a woman like a man is to misunderstand her completely. Nietzsche also touched on the nature of female love, and here is where many men today get trapped. He believed that women love differently than men. A man loves a woman for who she is. A woman often loves a man for what he represents. Not in a materialistic sense, but in a symbolic one. She loves the strength, the ambition, the potential. Her love is conditional, not because she is cruel, but because her biology compels her to align with the strongest seed, the most powerful protector. Nietzsche once remarked, "Are you going to women? Do not forget the whip." Again, many misinterpret this line. It's not about abuse, it's about remembering your power. It's a symbolic warning. Do not approach the feminine unarmed, unprepared, or too soft. In today's language, don't simp, don't pedestalize her, don't give away your sovereignty, because when a man gives up his masculine mission to serve a woman's emotions, he loses her respect. Modern men fail here every day. trying to win her over with gifts, words, or obedience, instead of embodying the values she subconsciously craves: strength, direction, and independence. Nietzsche's understanding of the feminine is more relevant than ever. The modern woman has more choice than ever before. She is flooded with attention, options, and validation. She can scroll through hundreds of men before breakfast, and so her instincts, once tempered by scarcity and tradition, are now hyperactive. The feminine impulse toward hypergamy, status-seeking, and emotional drama is amplified by technology. This isn't her fault. It's an inevitable outcome of nature meeting modernity. So what is a man to do? The answer is not to hate women. Nietzsche didn't hate women. He respected their power and warned men to do the same. The solution is to become a man worthy of female nature, to stop expecting her to be your savior or emotional support system, to stop whining when she tests you, pulls away, or chooses another. Her behavior is not your blueprint. Your mission is. Your legacy is. The modern man must lead himself before he can lead a woman. Nietzsche would say, become who you are, forge your values, embrace the chaos, and transcend it. Then, and only then, will a woman truly follow you. Let's apply this to real life. You're a man building a business, focused, disciplined. You're dating a woman who's beautiful and emotionally complex. One week she's supportive, the next she's distant. Nietzsche would say, don't react emotionally, don't chase, observe. Ask yourself, is this a test? Is she seeking reassurance of your strength? Most times, she is. Women test men not because they're evil, but because they need to feel protected, emotionally and spiritually. When you break down, over-explain, or beg for validation, you fail the test. But when you remain grounded, calm, and resolute, when you lead, she feels safe. In that safety, she softens, not out of submission, but out of trust. Nietzsche believed that truth is harsh, and people avoid it because it hurts. The truth is this: women don't want perfect men. They want strong men. Imperfect, flawed, but self-assured. Men who can carry their burden without collapsing. And in a world of weak, addicted, distracted males, such a man becomes a king by default. So what's the takeaway? Stop waiting for women to change. Understand them. Master your response. Develop what Nietzsche called the will to power, not just over others, but over yourself. Don't be bitter. Don't be naive. Become sovereign. Build your body. Sharpen your mind. Control your emotions. And when you encounter the feminine, engage with strength, grace, and discernment. She is not your enemy. She is a mirror. If she is chaotic, look inward. If she is testing you, stand firm. If she is loyal, honor her. But never forget, her love is not a gift. It is a reflection, and it reflects the man you are becoming. Nietzsche didn't give us a guidebook to women. He gave us a mirror. The deeper you look into it, the more you'll understand not only women, but yourself. To attract women, truly attract them, one must first abandon the modern obsession with tactics, lines, and strategies. Nietzsche, though not a dating coach, understood this better than any of today's red pill influencers or so-called relationship experts. His philosophy cuts deeper. It shows that the man who magnetizes women is not the one who knows the most tricks, but the one who has become a force of nature. In Nietzsche's world, to attract is not to seek. It is to become, to embody, to transcend the average and evolve into something rare, dangerous, and admirable. Today's man has been trained to believe that women are won over through constant validation, compromise, or emotional vulnerability. Nietzsche would scoff. He would say, you attract the feminine by fully embodying the masculine, not just through muscles or money, but through will, depth, and power. Not through begging, but through becoming. To Nietzsche, the first step in attracting women is this: know yourself, forge yourself, master yourself. Before you ever seek a woman's attention, You must become worthy of it, not in her eyes, but in your own. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, the overman, wasn't some superhero. It was the man who overcomes the lies of society and builds his own values. He doesn't live by what others say he should want. He lives by the fire in his soul. This is magnetic. Most men today are unsure of who they are. They scroll, they chase trends, they echo opinions, they lack vision. And because of that, they repel the feminine, not by being rude, but by being invisible. Nietzsche's man attracts not by shouting, but by existing with such weight and self-possession that others are drawn in without understanding why. A woman doesn't fall for a man's words. She falls for his essence, his direction, his fire, his refusal to bend. Let's get practical. A man who embodies Nietzschean attraction doesn't ask, "What do women want?" He asks, "What kind of man do I need to become to feel complete, with or without them?" Most men want a woman to complete them. That's weakness. Nietzsche would call this slave morality, the belief that your worth is determined by external validation. You work a job you hate. You pretend to be nice. You say what you think she wants to hear. And still, she leaves. Why? Because you are not rooted. You are not dangerous in the spiritual sense. Nietzsche admired danger, not recklessness, but vitality, that raw, untamed power beneath the surface. A man who walks into a room with a clear purpose, who doesn't flinch under pressure, who doesn't need approval, that man is rare. And what is rare becomes desired. Even if he speaks little, even if he is not the tallest or richest, the man who radiates purpose becomes attractive not because he seeks it, but because he is too focused to notice whether he's being noticed. Nietzsche also believed in the power of suffering, not as punishment, but as refinement. He wrote, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." In other words, your past pain, your trauma, your rejection, these are not curses. They are the raw material. The modern man hides from pain. He numbs it with porn, weed, video games, distractions. But the man who integrates his pain, who turns heartbreak into hunger, betrayal into building, becomes radiant with depth. And women feel this. You think women are attracted to abs and luxury cars. Sometimes, but more often, they are drawn to mystery, to presence, to the man who has suffered, survived, and still smiles. That's magnetic. It's not the flex of what you have. It's the vibe of what you've conquered. So don't resent your darkness. Use it, transmute it. Let it sculpt you into a man who cannot be broken, only sharpened. Now, Nietzsche didn't believe women could be fully known. He often described the feminine as mysterious, unpredictable, and instinctual. He said, woman was God's second mistake. Controversial? Absolutely. But also a recognition of the unpredictable nature of feminine energy. And yet, that doesn't mean women are unknowable. It means they are not linear. They are cyclical, emotional, and they respond not to logic, but to energy, to presence. This is where most modern men lose. They try to argue their worth. They debate. They explain. They complain that women are confusing. Nietzsche would say, why argue with a storm? Learn to read it. Learn to harness it. Learn to dance with it, without losing your footing. The man who understands the feminine doesn't try to control it. He leads it, through his steadiness, through his direction, through his refusal to waver. Let's take an example from modern life. A man starts talking to a woman he's interested in. She seems interested, then pulls away. He gets anxious, starts texting more, asking if she's okay, trying to talk about feelings. He thinks this will bring her closer. It does the opposite. Nietzsche would see this as a collapse of masculine will. Instead, imagine this. She pulls away, and you do nothing. You remain focused. You don't chase. You don't panic. You don't even flinch. She feels your calm. She sees that your world doesn't revolve around her emotions. And suddenly, she is curious again. Why? Because women are drawn to gravity, emotional leadership. The man who leads not with volume, but with vision. Nietzsche's formula for attraction is not found in lines, dating apps, or playing games. It is found in becoming. In building a life so compelling that women become a byproduct, not the prize. You want to attract women? Become a creator, start a business, lift iron, read deeply, meditate, travel, speak less, observe more, stop watching others live, and start writing your own myth. Nietzsche believed that each man should become his own god, not in arrogance, but in authorship. When you live like this, women feel your energy before you speak. You don't need to impress. You simply need to be. So here's the final truth. You don't attract women by needing them. You attract them by not needing them. And yet, appreciating them. Not from a place of emptiness, but from a place of overflow. You attract them not because you chase, but because you are moving in a direction so powerful that she wants to come along for the ride. She wants to orbit your world, but only if your world is worth orbiting. So stop trying to be the man women want. Become the man you admire. Become the man that your younger self would fear and respect. That man, the one who speaks with silence, moves with purpose, and builds with fire, doesn't need to attract women. They come to him, not always immediately, but inevitably. Thus, remember, we are Indeceptor. Becoming Indeceptor is the code they never wanted you to learn. A psychological war map for men, forbidden teachings fused with modern strategy for influence, dominance, and self-mastery. If you want peace, prepare for war.